I sit in this chair where no one can see anyone but me and Swami, and I look at thousands of faces of people who are practicing duality. They think God's over there and I'm over here. It is a misnomer. It is incorrect. You say you're devotees of the Lord, and yet none of you really listen to anything He has to say. He said the same thing since he was 15, 16 years old. You are the formless, I'm the formless. You are gods, I am gods. You are prana energy, I am prana energy. If you want a mantra, here it is. I am God, I am God, I am God, I am God. But everybody wants to believe that there is some other being somewhere else, someone to worship sitting in a chair in Puttaparthi or in Islam sitting in some divine place other than where you are. This is a total mistake. You are all divine beings. And yet, it's so funny, there was a great Maharani. Swami loved her. And I was present with her daughter, and she was telling me just recently a story about her mother and Satya Sai Baba, in which they got into a tremendous fight. He adored her because she treated him like an equal, like a brother, not practicing any kind of duality. And she was tougher than him because he's very sentimental and he's very sweet. And she was winning the fight. And finally, out of desperation, Swami said, "Are you scared of me?" She said, "No, I'm not scared of you, but I'm scared of your Maya. I'm scared of your Maya." So every day I sit and I watch everyone practicing duality, everyone looking for a glance, everyone looking for their letter to be taken, everyone looking for him to come nearby, everyone practicing the very thing that we fell from the garden from 25,000 years ago. Because the mind-body experience became overstimulated. And suddenly we believe that God was over there and we're over here. You are all divine beings. He has said this from the very beginning, every speech, every time, everything he speaks of. And yet, his Maya is frightening. His Maya almost demands that you fall into this quagmire of trying to understand whether you are God or not. It's part of the game. It's part of the play. In the early days, at the very beginning, the rishis were allowed to see the cosmic form. And they realized that it was beyond human consumption, that it could not be seen. One man, in a book called the Bhagavad Gita, demanded of his master Krishna, "You owe me a boon. I've done so much. I've done all these things you've told me. I want to see the cosmic body." "No, it's not for you. You don't understand. It's not for humans to see. You cannot see the cosmic body. It's beyond human contemplation. It's not meant for human beings. But you owe me all these boons. You owe me a boon. I want it. I want it. I want it," over and over again. So, to teach us all, Krishna showed Arjuna the cosmic body. Seconds later, he went, "Take it away. I can't stand it. Take it away. It's not for me." Because it's not for you. None of you, nor I, nor anyone that exists understands Sri Satya Sai Baba, Rama, Muhammad, Jesus Christ, realized beings who have merged with their true personality, which is divinity, which is the cosmos. I thought of all the great masters who have been on this planet through the various yugas. You see, we don't have any comprehension of anything but ourselves. We don't look at history. We don't really know God. We follow masters because it makes us feel good, because it's our natural destiny to realize or be on a path, each of us, on a separate path to the same place, which is unity with your true personality. Prana energy. Prana energy is now in everything. It's everywhere. It's the air between us. God is the electron in every atom. Those are his eyes and his ears. The entire cosmos is his body. He can visit any part of his body anytime he wishes. To move towards him is what he expects. It is your good fate, your good fortune, as it is to a Muslim to approach Muhammad. It is to a Christian to approach Jesus Christ, a Zoroastrian to follow Zarathustra, a Buddhist to follow Buddha. These great masters have come at the appropriate time when God needed to be on this planet to do only one thing: vibrate his energy, to change the destiny of the planet. When the planet was off course, when the plan wasn't quite correct, they come just to vibrate, not to have devotees and Baltica groups and Sai groups and all these different things. It's secondary. They come as a blessing when the larger plan is not correct. Sai Baba is part of a triple incarnation. This is something called the Kali Yuga. There have been 3 yugas before this. This yuga, known as the Kali Yuga, is supposed to be the darkest time that man has ever been in, right now, because of communication, because of the internet, because of this wild material world we've created. We are totally subjected to this powerful, powerful mantra, which is part of the Maya of the world. Fame, sex, power, money. Fame, sex, power, money. It's on our TV, our radios, the magazines that we read. It is absolutely consumed us, and all we do is talk about what we see on TV and what we read and what we think. It is the darkest hour before the dawn. 20 years ago, a young man who I've known since I was 7 years old, named Albert Gore, who became Vice President of the United States, but was my next-door neighbor. I believed in him. He was an amateur scientist and a very fine and sweet man. In fact, every time I mention his name to Sai Baba, he goes, "Good company." So he became a senator, and senators can get a tremendous amount of money. Congressmen have more trouble. He wanted to do a study with all these amateur scientists like himself about this biosphere situation. This is 20 years ago. And he called me up to the Senate's office building 20 years ago, after years of scientific study with various people he'd been in contact with around the world. And he showed me a little slideshow for 3 hours because he had access to NASA and all the computers the government could give him and so forth. He said, "I can't believe what's happening. The biosphere is collapsing." He said, because of the population on the planet, industrial farming has become a massive industry, and we dump trillions of tons of poisons on the earth every day to get good yields, because that's good business. But we're poisoning the underground water system, and by about 2020, the entire underground water system is going to be soiled where we can't even grow plants anymore, and we're going to have a food crisis. He said also, there's something called ozone in these chemicals that's in air conditioners and aerosol cans and all this, and they're magnetically charged, and they're pulled by magnetism to the North and South Pole, and they're cutting a hole through something called the ozone, and this allows ultraviolet light to come in. The polar caps are going to melt. and the seas will rise. Every city that's on the coast will be uninhabitable. And because they're all built on landfills, there'll be massive pandemics. And the economic systems, because they're all on coastal cities, which they've always been, New York, London, and so forth, they'll be destroyed. He said also we have something called global warming, which means that everything that is made, this wonderful desk, this piece of plastic, everything that you see in front of you is made with electricity. And that means we have to burn coal and oil to make these things, but it's causing a greenhouse effect, and it's making the seas rise 2% centigrade. Once it goes 2% centigrade, then the entire weather patterns, which are totally guided by the temperature of the oceans, will change, and the growing seasons all over this planet will change to the point where we cannot feed the people. He said, we've poisoned the air, causing all kinds of carcinogenics and all kinds of diseases, and all kinds of things will happen, and the biosphere is collapsing. We have caused this. God hasn't caused this. We've caused this to happen. The Greeks and the Romans believed that the earth was a goddess Gaia, and that she is, and as beautiful as she is, she must be a goddess, and that we're destroying her. And so she must eject us. Just like an antibiotic, we are the thing that's destroying her. We must be ejected. The species that is the most endangered on this planet is man. And it's not because of what God has done, it's because of what we have done. And so, in fear, I ran to my beautiful friend, my best friend, my only friend, who has more humor and lightness and love. He's your friend. He's your only friend. He's your best friend. Keep it light, man. This guy is light. He's an enlightened being. They come to help us, to enlighten us, to guide us, and they come basically to vibrate on the planet. So I ran to him, and I said, "Is it true? Is it true?" He said, "Yes, it's true." He said, "God is allowing mankind to destroy the earth. Only when mankind is brought to his knees will he turn towards God." I left that room in total and complete joy. Because what that meant is that the golden age, which has been promised for 30,000 years, is about to occur. And there's no greater time to be incarnated than right now. This is the time to be here. We will see the change come. Every civilization on the planet, everything on the planet, all life on the planet, and we're so self-involved with our nonsense. We don't even look at history or care about anything but our own little silly involvements. Because at this time, the mind-body experience is overstimulated. There's no place for God. The delusion of life, the Maya of life, is incredible. We have something called an ego. It's an essential part of the mind-body experience. It has 5 best friends. So it has total control over you, especially if everything around you is associated to those 5 friends. They're called the 5 senses. You wake up in the morning, you see, you touch, you smell, you taste, you hear. Your little mind starts twirling, and you think you're a human being. The Swami has said, you're a walking temple. That which has never been born never dies. You can't be soiled, you can't be hurt, you can't be damaged, you can't be anything. I know. He brought me back from the dead. He took me to the other side. You all know the stories. Sai Baba is a Zen master. A Zen master like all of them. How can he change you? He takes you there. He makes all the good people act bad. He makes all the bad people act good. He takes out of you what needs to be changed and he pulls it out, and you're there for 5 or 6 days. Everything, every negative emotion comes out of you, and how can he change you unless he pulls out of you and makes you face what it is that you have to change? This is Zen master, man. It's unique. It's the only thing you can relate to, because you cannot relate to the cosmic form. And there's only one testament that all of you who have been there and have known and are seekers can say. There's only one thing that can make you believe in Sai Baba, because you do not know who he is. It's beyond you completely, and me. But we can all testify to one thing. The real Leela to talk about is transformation. Everyone in this room, everyone at that ashram, everyone that has experienced his orbit anywhere in the world has a story about transformation. He changed you. He made you think differently. He brought out the bad so you could see it and see what you needed changed. If you were bad, he brought out the good and showed you you could be good. He transformed you. That's the only way you can know him, because it's not meant to see the cosmic body, but the experience of the Divine Master, of which there have been many, is the whole gig, man. It's the whole thing. Your relationship is one-on-one with him. That's also another unique experience. Do not get confused with the collective thinking that your relationship is a group relationship, because it's not. It's one-on-one. And that is the delicious knowledge he has given you. I've been with him since I was 24 years old. They asked me to speak about a couple of things. They think that if you believe in the Leelas, you'll believe in God and magic things and materializations and being brought back from the dead and all that. That's nonsense. The Leela, the only Leela that you can relate to, is your own personal transformation. You don't need any Leelas. You don't need any rings. You don't need any vibhuti. You don't need any of that. You need to know that the orbit, the vibration, has transformed you. And the last time I sat with him inside, I said, Swami, I'm praying to Lakshmi, every night. I'm doing what you told me to do. And he took his finger and put it right on my chest as hard as he could. He says, Lakshmi is inside of you. There was a great saint, Saint Germain. He apparently lived for 375 years. He wrote a book called The Seventh Ray. I suggest that you all try to get it. You probably get it on the internet. He is one of the ascended masters. And he talks about bhajans, Vedic chanting, hymns from all the religions. When I went there when I was 24, I never knew what the bhajans were about. I didn't understand them. I didn't understand the language. I don't speak Telugu. I didn't have the translations. But I knew I always felt enlightened or enlivened or something by sitting there, even listening to words I didn't understand. And then suddenly this Saint Germain was brought into my life by Sai Baba under unique circumstances. And Saint Germain on page 58 speaks of hymns, congregational prayer, chanting Vedas, and from every religion, from Buddhism to the Quran, Christianity, Hinduism. And he said, when you chant these things, all the divine beings from the astral plane come there, and they are there with you. Part of the enlightenment. But more interesting is that they also come from inside of you out. Because you are walking temples. All the divine beings are inside of you, not outside of you. What foolishness is this duality? This is how we fell from grace. This is why we had to go through 25,000 years of mistake. And now we're in the Kali Yuga, the very last end of it all, the darkest hours before the dawn. And yes, Sai Baba told me 20 years ago, yes, Al Gore is right. And the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are on their horses and they're riding now. You know what that means? It means hallelujah, man. It does. Most people I tell this to, oh, what should I do with my money? Where should I take my family? Should I sell that house in San Diego? It's right on the beach. Now this, and they say, where can I be safe? Should I go to Puttaparthi? Should I go up to Bhutan? Should I go up to... There's going to be no safe place. The only thing you should care about is that you are blessed to be here to see the transition of the new age. This Maya machine started with the Industrial Revolution. Whenever you wanted to have money, because there were only kings and warlords and monarchs throughout this entire land, Isthmus Valley, you name it, China, period. Every other person that lived under their roof were slaves, were serf, were nothing. There was no law for them. They owned something. They owned a soldier's uniform to go fight somebody else for these guys. Because the only way you get more money or gold or silver was to go rob it from this other kingdom. Go get it from these other guys. And then all of a sudden the Industrial Revolution came along. And we started making things for the masses. So suddenly everyone said, hey, we don't have to go rob any money across the street. We can sell stuff to our own guys and make a fortune. We can make our fortunes internally. And that's when the Maya of wanting and needing and having things, which you are all sitting at the ultimate moment of, started. 1820, 1830. Started with something called a cotton gin. And then the English and the Dutch and the Germans and all of them started manufacturing everything for the masses. And that was, people wanted things, to have things, comparing to their neighbor. I have this, you don't have this. I have this, you have this, I have this, you don't have this, you have this, I don't have this. And that's when the mind-body experience was overstimulated and the stimulation began. And that's when the first avatar came of the triple avatar. Shirdi Sai Baba. Shirdi is Shiva. It was essential for him to be there to illustrate and to push forward his vibration so that everyone would want to be part of the Maya. And then a second incarnation arrived called Sri Satya Sai Baba. He was here for the Shiva Shakti energy, the combination of Shiva and Shakti. So that suddenly, as you look at the graphs of medicine and science and everything we have, just went after thousands of years like this, just took to the stars. He is here for this portion of the transition into the new age. And to mark the end of the Kali Yuga. Everything is absolutely perfect. God is in his heaven. All is right with the world, just the way it is. I've been with Sai Baba a long time. He's been broadcasting to me since I was 14 years old, and I had to go to India to find where this broadcast was coming from. He allowed me to start something called the Hard Rock Cafe, which I was not trained for. I had a 10th grade education. At 22, I opened this place, and I was so shy that I couldn't sit in a room with more than 3 people. And it was devastating, and people were asking me how to solve this and how to solve that. And he started broadcasting the answers to me. But they all came in the most simplistic form, as they should. They came in the 5 Vedic values. Tell the truth. Oh, okay, fine. Do the right thing. Be righteous. Okay, I got it. I got the message. Is this a place of love that you're creating? Or is this a place of bad vibrations? People don't want to come to work. Are they coming here to get a check? Or are they coming here because they want to come here to work? Are you creating the right vibrations? Are you following these? I didn't even know what the 5 Vedic values were, except that he was telling me how to run a business because I knew nothing. And every time I came up against a problem, he would answer it. Your inner voice. Mahatma Gandhi talked about the inner voice throughout all of his works. I followed my inner voice, my conscience. I suddenly started thinking that maybe it isn't just my mind talking to me. Maybe I can actually start a conversation with my own divinity. And that I started when I was very young. It continues today. I ask him before I walked into this room what I ask him 20 times a day, a prayer that he gave me. Lord, please think through me. Because everything begins with thought. Everything. Lord, please feel through me. That's the heart. The mind, the thought is the male energy. The heart is the female energy. So the mixture of the two must be sublime, must be perfect. If you have too much male energy, it's too much logic and nonsense and craziness. If you have too much female energy, you're over the top and you'll be crying all day long. You won't know what to do with yourself. Both are beautiful, but only when they are correctly put together. So he taught me this prayer many years ago. I do it 20 times a day at the ashram. Lord, think through me. That's how all things begin. Thought. Lord, feel through me. Make these thoughts your thoughts. I don't want mine. I'm tired of mine. I don't like mine. I'm bored with mine. You put the thoughts in my mind. And you mix them with my compassion and my mercy and my spirituality, the female side. This is the male. This is the female. Lord, think through me. Lord, feel through me. And then the natural progression from there is, Lord, speak through me, because first you think of something and you feel something and you come up with a thing that you think is the correct thing. And the first thing you do is you verbalize it. Lord, think through me, male. Lord, feel through me, female. Lord, speak through me. And then, Lord, act through me. Animate my body with this perfect formula that you've given me, because I've given over my mind and my heart to you. Think through me, feel through me, speak the truth, make it correct. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste any time. And then animate my body to actually act it out. And then, most important of all, Lord, love through me. Human love is contracting, grabbing, silly, mistake. Cosmic love, the love of Sai Baba, is ever expanding, inclusive. Lord, love through me. I love everybody. Do you know that Isaac Tigrett, this strange man that's talking all this nonsense to you tonight, when anyone approaches me, I see God approaching. I feel honored that anyone would even speak to me. Because I don't see faces, I don't see personalities. I see divine beings, I see walking temples. My dear Lord has given me grace. God send grace. That's the only prayer any of you should ever have. God send grace. Grace is the true, only connection, even as difficult it is, with the cosmic reality. Love through me. Love through me. And then he gave me another command. Breathe through me. Because you see, the entire universe is on a pulse. It's on a pulse. And so he gave me a meditation. I go in front of the tree that's right there in front of the Ganesha. That's actually the Shiva himself. And I put myself inside the tree. And I suggest you all try this because it's dynamite. And I breathe in first through all the branches. Those branches are connected to the Divine Father, your real Father. And I breathe in that energy. And I let it replace all that's unnecessary, and I expel it. Then I think of the roots of the tree, because I'm inside the tree. I am the tree. And I breathe in through the roots, just like the branches are here. These roots are there. And I breathe in the Divine Mother. It's so gracious. It's so incredible. And then again, from above. And then from below. Connecting with my true parents, the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. I think Sai Baba has said that's what he is. I suggest you all try it. It'll change your lives. It's changed mine. I do this prayer 20 times every day. I don't want to be me. I know who I am. I am Sai Baba. So are you. Don't practice duality. It's a waste of time. He needs you now. Why the Sai groups? Why the first master and thousands and from the beginning of time? There's all these devotees. He wants you to think positively. He wants you to do seva. He wants you to love your brothers and sisters. He wants you to read his words, which none of you do. None of you read the words. When all these masters came, religions were started after they went. How? Because the Jyoti light is lit in their words, and people find their own reflection and their own reason for spirituality through the words they read. Jesus Christ died 2,009 years ago. He has 500 million devotees on this planet. And they've never seen him, they've never heard him, but they read his word and they find their own spirituality. Sai Baba has said over and over and over again, all paths lead to the same place. Everybody thinks, oh, I see, there's going to be a new age and Swami's going to do a little thing with this crystal thing and everyone's going to believe in Sai Baba. Everyone is going to believe in God, the God within. Your next door neighbor, your friend. He just started this Shiva Rudram. Do you know what it talks about? God is in inanimate objects. Inanimate. And this piece of board and this piece of plastic and everything that you see, God is in everything. He just changed the end of RT. He just changed it. Before, at the end of RT, there was a little expression and it said, bless and bring prosperity to all the beings in the world. He just changed that. Very auspicious, important thing. He said, bless and bring prosperity to all the beings in all the worlds. Because there are multiple dimensions. There's much more going on than you need to know about. I'm one of the few that do know, because he chose for some reason, which I'll never understand, to reveal many, many things to me. Those things have been recorded in crystals, which he has in his possession at the proper time, because now it's not, or when the new age comes, it will be revealed. Because it's been promised that when the new age comes, all the ancient wisdom will be brought back. Because when the Maya machine is cut off, then people are going to say, well, where's the gold? Where's the silver? Where's the diamonds? Where's the jewels? Where do I find them? It'll be the inward path. He now has me, and through his grace, building a vault with over 30 disciplines, ancient knowledge. He said, I will bring the masters. I'll bring the money. I'll bring the place, 200 acres. It's an amazing place where there's a vault for all the ancient wisdom. It will be built post-SAI. It will be there ready when people can use it and need it for the journey within, which is the golden age. It's at hand. It's 28 years away, according to Sri Satya Sai Baba. He said it twice in public in the last 3 months. So this is the time to be incarnated. As the pendulum swings through, as Durga and Shiva and their mastery in changing this ridiculous age where the mind-body is overstimulated and the mantra of power, sex, money, and fame has seduced us all to where we all feel insecure. The whole planet feels insecure. Then as that pendulum swings, there is a balance between positive and negative energy. And to make it happen correctly, the balance between positive and negative goes like this. So the reason he has you guys around is he just wants you to think positively. Do Balvika work. Go work for the Unitarian Church. Have side groups, sing bhajans, bring all the beings. Just think positively. Your only job is to think positively. He needs your energy to make the new age arrive with the least amount of pain for everybody here. That's it. And that's the reason I came here tonight. To tell you that all he wants is for you to think positively. He needs your positive energy. He needs it. It is your duty. I sit there and watch all these people running up at his feet and jostling his chair and, what are my side group? Or should we build this building? My wife is sick. I need this. And, oh my God, can I have this? Give me. There is only one question to ask Sri Satya Sai Baba, my master. Lord, what can I do for you? Not what you can do for me. Jai Sai Ram. Yes, sir.
From your past, you have been very successful from a business point of view. And from all of that, so you had wealth and you were very young and all of that. So in spite of all of those material temptations, what really brought you into the spiritual fold and kept you there?
Well, that's an easy one. Sai Baba doesn't want you to not be successful. He doesn't want you to be unhappy, to live an austere life. I want you to be in the world, but not attached to the world. Put out the positive vibrations. Find the 5 Vedic values in your business. And I did. I applied them to every single thing I did. If a man came into my business bringing bad vibrations, I had to let him go, even though he was a genius and could make lots of money for me. If it wasn't the correct thing, which you can just use the 5 Vedic values as a litmus test for whatever you do. And if they don't pass, out they go. Swami wants you to be successful. He wants you to be happy. He doesn't want you to be austere and frightened. The thing that bores him the most is that all these devotees are scared of him. What a lonely life he leads. I'll tell you something very interesting. Sai Baba sent me to see my daughter in Texas, here in Dallas, some months ago. I said, Swami, I don't want to go, because you've given me this incredible thing called peace of mind, and I don't want to lose it. And I'll lose it if I go back to the West, because there's nothing but insecurity there. There's nothing but this machine and I'm weak. I'm a weak man. I'm a great soul, but I'm a weak man. I don't want to be part of that anymore. I'm here. I'm with you. You asked me to stay here for the rest of my life. In fact, till after you die, until the moment I die. And I'm here. And you go. Yes, sir. I went. But I became depressed. And I became victimized. And I lost this peace of mind which he'd given me, and being a devotee all these years. And suddenly I discovered the only thing worth possessing is peace of mind. And he gave it to me in Puta Party, and I'd had it for 1.5 years, and now it was gone. I was depressed, I was crying, I was deluded, I couldn't believe that I'd lost this incredible gift, the only thing I've been searching for my whole life. And I go back to Puta Party, and I go into my room, and I refuse to go to Darshan, and I'm crying, and I'm depressed. And he goes, where's Tigrett? Tell Tigrett to come to Darshan. So I go very reluctantly. I pray all night long. I say my mantra all night, and I say, Swami, I want you to give me back that peace of mind. Please, please give it back. Please. Just one little bit of acknowledgement. Just let me, I'll look up, and I want you to look at me and give me in that moment of acknowledgement my peace of mind back. And I sat in that chair, and I waited, because I know everywhere he is, and I sat there, and I looked up, and he passed within a few feet, as he does every day, and he didn't look at me, but he said, seek knowledge, not acknowledgement. That's the whole gig. I sit there and I watch everyone practicing duality all day long. God's over there and I'm over here. Ridiculous. You're all divine beings. Seek knowledge, not acknowledgement. He can't help it that he came in human form. He can't help it that he rolls around in his little wheelchair and does his little tricks. And he's Krishna. He is such a troublemaker. He's so delicious. He's so incredible. He's so funny. He's so beautiful. And he loves everyone. And he's inside of you. He's not outside of you. He's in. Seek knowledge, not acknowledgement. When I first came to Puta Party, he'd called me for many years, since the time I was 14 years old. He led me through the entire hard rock experience, which I started when I was 22 years old. I was untrained, but he kept sending those 5 Vedic values. Every problem I had, he'd answer it. Do this, do this, do this, do this. I knew there was someone broadcasting to me, so I eventually went to India at 24. I spent 9 months. I went to every yogi, every ashram, every place I could be to find him. And I eventually found Sai Baba. I sat back. I'd been smoking some opium that day. I was 24. I had black clothes on, my shades on, hair down here about 70 pounds ago. And I just sat up against the wall at Vrindavan, and there was this little tree with this little blue man underneath it, and about 100 people. It was Krishna. I didn't know who Krishna was then. And here comes this beautiful form. I knew it was him. I knew he was the one I'd been searching for. And he came right up to me and he said, if what he'd been broadcasting to me for so many years, I've been waiting for you. You've come at last. We are not new friends. We are old, old friends. Wait here. We have much to do. He did not speak to me again for 15 years. I came month after month, year after year, whenever my business, which was exploding, would allow me to come, and I'd sit there in the dirt, and there was just a white building there, and they were starting to put peacocks on it and all that stuff. And he would, every time he got near me, he went like this. And 3 or 4 trips after my ego was totally deflated and everything else, I realized that the form, the master had been talking to me since I was 14 years old, I had searched for all my life, was not going to talk to me or have anything to do with me. But he was the master. He was the one. And then I realized he'd given me a boon. because I had to discover the formless. He wasn't going to let the form get in the way of my evolution. So for those 15 years, I read the books, every word. I grew spiritually like a monster. I understood the formless nature of us all, of Him, of what it's all about. He gave me a boon. He didn't want His Maya and His form to get in the way of my evolution. You're very lucky, all of you. You don't have to be in Puta Party. It's a real drag for most people, because the form is there and it's confusing and you don't know what's going on. You all, those who are searched in your heart and know that that master is not just in that chair, he's inside of you. You get to deal with the formless. The people in Puta Party have to deal with the form. Maya beyond belief. So you have the opportunity here in Dallas, Texas, to search for and find the formless nature, which is in all of you. You don't have the distraction of the master. You go there, you visit, it's totally different. It's confusing. It's difficult. He didn't look at me. He didn't take my letter. I got in the back row. You practice duality over and over again every day, and then he brings out all this stuff inside of you, and he gives you the one and only thing that you can relate to as human beings about the superconsciousness. He transforms you, and every single one of you have a story of personal transformation. That is the daddy, man. That's the whole thing. That's all you need to know. And he wants you to think positively. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming. How soon are you going to be able to relate this to the Baptist community?
Well, it's very interesting. See, organized religion is a very strange thing. There is, everything's decided by a committee. There's no accountability. It's all politics, and they politicize what they believe is the way to worship God. And it's a personal thing. It's very good that there are groups. I believe in the Baptists. In fact, I come from this ancient Baptist family, which was so right-wing, you have no idea, in Jackson, Tennessee, where I'm from. 5 generations. And then one day, a minister got up and he said, all the Hindus in the world are going to burn in eternity for not following Christ. And all the men of Islam are going to burn in eternity for not following Christ. And all the Jews are going to, and even all the Catholics are going to burn in eternity for And something in tiny bind said, the Lamb didn't say that. The Lamb? That's the energy of primacy. You see, primacy is going to bring the energy of Christ. It's amazing. But I left the church that day. I said, and although I was a spiritual boy, I said, no way, man. And I left. And then Sai Baba called me in one day, and he said, you're very angry at your family. I said, yes, I am. They've not spoken to me for 30 years because I follow you, because I believe in a universal God. And he said, you are wrong. They're seeking the same God you are. That's the answer.
Thank you.
This is the most incredible journey of the spirituality and how you came into Swami's fold through service. You started in such a humble way. To those individuals who are seeking the path of service, such as looking for projects, we find it very interesting. Can you give us some more guidelines? Can you give us? It would be very, very powerful for the most powerful country in the world, United States, that we cannot come together on one single project that we can do for our Lord. And how do we do that? How do we do that? How do we come together as one unit? and go in front of God and say, this is what we want to do for the humanity. This is what we are doing for you, our dear Lord. How do we do that?
That's a misnomer, my friend. It's an individual journey. Each one of you have your own karma. It's very interesting because there's two concentric circles occurring at the same time. As you appear on this planet, you have one that is destroying karma, and you have another one, concentric circle, in the opposite direction, which is creating karma. So the journey, which all of us have to the same place, from Atma to Atma, is a personal journey. To think that everything is going to rise up and be this or that is absurd. It's never happened. It's not meant to happen. It would be foolishness. That would mean the end of the golden age when everything is absorbed back again. Which many people will choose still the mind-body. Because the great thing about God is He does not interfere with free will. He does not interfere with free will. He does not demand anything of you. He doesn't make you do anything. And just as I was watching all those men forcing themselves on Sai Baba at some gig that was going on there and jumping on him and all these important, what do I do with my Sai Center and what do I do with my wife? My wife's sick, and all these politicians and famous cricket players and everything else. I got furious. And I stormed out. As I stormed out, there's a beautiful man who teaches English. You may have seen him down there, and he teaches at the school. He said, "What's wrong, Tigrett? What's wrong with you?" The supposed devotees who are given, give me this, give me that, give me that, give me this, do this for me, do this for me, do this, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. And there's only one question they should all be asking is what I can do for Sai Baba. And he said, "You are wrong." So what do you mean? He said, everybody is on their own personal journey to God. These guys are all approaching. The fact that they are approaching is what Sai has spoken of over and over again. You take one step towards me, I take 100 towards you. The mere fact that they're approaching, even though they want this or want that, they are approaching. And when they approach, and when you ask, and when you beg, and when you really approach the divine within, is the only time that it can actually respond, because it will not interfere with your free will. So it's not about some uprising of everybody being good and this. That's not the way it works. But the golden age is at hand. Swami said there is no one that has peace of mind on the whole planet. 2 speeches in a row. We poison all of our air. We poison all of our water. We poison all the food we eat. We poison everything. Someone even asked him many, many years ago, "Swami, why don't you come like Rama and Krishna and kill all the bad guys?" He said, "Well, I have to kill everybody." This is the Kali Yuga, man. Somebody came up to me when I mentioned this whole golden age thing coming. They said, "Oh, does that mean that," and I said this earlier, "does that mean that Swami's going to roll the little thing in the air and everybody's going to know that Sai Baba is God?" I said, "Don't be ridiculous. Everybody is going to know there is a God." What, do you think our Muslim brothers are wrong? You think our Christian brothers are wrong? You think that meetings are going on all over the world tonight, just like this one, people seeking and searching and trying to find answers to questions are wrong? They're all approaching. And as you approach, it allows Him to be there for you. You take one step towards me, I take 100 towards you. You cry one tear for me, I cry 100 for you. That's the way it works. It's like grass growing. It's not complicated. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
You said to be positive.
Yes.
Could you elaborate a little bit more and say, do we do specific things for the positive energy to show up? Is it individual or a group thing?
We are divine beings. Everything is made of prana energy. Everything is made of divine energy. It's in the space between you and me. It's in the air. It's the electron in every atom. The whole thing that he's doing with this new Rudram is to pray and let you know and put the vibrations that God is in inanimate objects too. But man is the most powerful and the highest of all beings because we have true divinity within us. He said, I made you in my image. This is the light body. We are powerful, powerful beings. And the most powerful thing that we can do is think. The second law of physics says, energy never dies. That's also the second law of metaphysics. Energy never dies. So where does it go? We all know from science that this brain of ours works on electrical current. It works on energy. But it's not just energy, it's prana energy. It's much more powerful than you could possibly even begin to realize. You can bring vibrations into someone's neighborhood just by thinking them and singing them to them across the world, across a dimension, even to your parents who are dead. Just by your thoughts. So imagine all the positive thoughts since the beginning of time. All of them. Compassion, mercy, love, worshiping gods. One of the first things Sai Baba told me, God created man, and man invented God. Dig it. God created man, and man invented God. What does that mean? I don't get it. Well, the superconsciousness, the conscious body of God, which Sai Baba can visit any part of his body anytime he wishes, which is the entire universe, is not meant for human consumption. I said that earlier. The original rishis knew that man could not consume the vision or the knowledge of the cosmic body of God. So, we created gods in every culture. From the beginning of time, in pagan times, we worship the sun. Or we worship the moon, or the stars, or the rain, or the earth, or rocks, or mountains, or trees, or nature, or the nature spirits, which are very powerful and here today as well. Then all of a sudden cultures formed. Greek, Roman, Isthmus Valley. We created gods. Shiva, Lakshmi, the whole, pantheon from Greece to Rome to the Aztecs to the Toltecs to everything. And as we worshiped them, we created this positive energy and we created them ourselves. They're made of divine prana energy, and they are archetypes, and I have been there. Swami has taken me to an amphitheater of which they all sit. Thousands of them from every culture. I know this sounds like a fairy tale, but you asked the question. And they are there, and they're made of human energy, compassion, love, mercy, worship. We created them in our own image. We created them. They're alive. They're made of prana, divine energy from human beings, and they feed on it. You pray to Jesus, you pray to Krishna, you pray to whoever you want to. A tuning fork from your prana energy goes right to them, and a little filament comes out of that dimension right to you, and they are with you to console you, to help you, because they're all positive beings. They're all there. They exist. They're archetypes. Behind them is a superconsciousness. But that can't be seen. It's not for you to see. He's taken me there many times. I don't expect one of you to believe me. But then dig this. What about all the negative energy from the beginning of time? Hatred, lust, greed, anger, envy. All this from prana energy inside divine beings. Where did this energy go? Energy never dies. That's also collected on another dimension in the form of demonic beings, which we created with our own minds, with our own negativity, just like we created all the other archetypes with our positive energy. So, you get angry, you get hateful, the little tuning fork happens. You literally, they hear it, and so that angry beast sends a nice little filament down, and it connects to you, and it keeps you as angry as long as it can. It's made of human energy, so it feeds off human energy. We created all of it. God's the doer of everything. We're divine beings. God is both good and evil. We created it. He didn't ask us to. We did it on our own because He gave us free will. So the Golden Age is about the cleansing of both. In fact, all three of these dimensions. There's a symbiotic relationship that occurs. And He told me there's no use of cleaning this dimension unless the other dimensions are cleansed as well for the Golden Age to happen, or everything would fall into disrepair again. So part of the SAI avatar relationship is not just with this dimension, it's with other dimensions as well. And He is here to cleanse both. Everybody says, oh, he's 83, he's in a wheelchair. Nonsense. He's a little boy having a big time, and he's doing more work today than he's ever done before. He's preparing. He's excited about the advent of Bhagavan, Sri Prima Sai, the part of the triple incarnation. The Shiva Shakti energy was Sai Baba. The Shiva energy was Shirdi. And now the Shakti energy, which is the Jesus energy, is going to rule over the New Age. It's beautiful. Any other questions?
You have made a very profound statement that spirituality is an individual and personal journey. And, I'm trying to grasp the true significance of that statement. And yet, that Swami has established the SAI organization with all its wings and Balvikas and Seva programs, water project, hospitals. So I'm just wondering, how do we connect the two? And, what's the true purpose of the organization then? If everything is personal, we don't need it, right?
It's a great question. And again, Rama had a handful, and Buddha had a handful, and Christ had a handful. They didn't come here to have millions and trillions of devotees and organizations and hospitals and all these things. But this avatar needs them, because this is the end of the Kali Yuga. This is the beginning of the New Age. He needs, if you are divine beings, if you really believe that, unless you're caught in this duality nonsense, then your energy, your thoughts are so powerful and can be so helpful to Him. That's why He has all these organizations. It's only natural to want to serve, to help your brothers, to have Balvika programs, to sing bhajans, to do positive things. But the big picture is He just wants you to think positively. He needs your positive energy, because you're divine beings, and your energy, which I've just explained to you in the weirdest way, and I'm so sorry I even got into that, is powerful stuff. It's really the greatest grace in the world. And one day soon, all of you will have a journey to know it all. This is the end of an age. This is the end of the Kali Yuga. The New Age is at hand. He's already said in speeches, within 25 years, it'll be a new civilization. He needs you now more than ever before, and He wants only one thing from you, no matter what the organization or what you're doing or what it is. Think positively. Go out and help your neighbor. Sing bhajans. Do a hospital gig. Go out and help the poor. Go out and do these things. Do positive things with your positive energy. I need it. That's what He's saying. That's what He wants from all of us. That's all I've got to say. Okay, well listen, I've enjoyed talking, probably too long. I have been thrilled to be here. And my little brother is here, Scott, who for 5 months helped me with some very interesting work. Do you have a question, sir?
I got a question.
Okay, well, step up to the mic. Step up to the mic.
Accepting now that Swami is starting to get older in his form, and that he'll probably be leaving all of us sooner than later. And you talked about dark times coming ahead, times where we'll really need something to cling to. what exactly should we be trying to focus on when Swami's gone?
Very good question. Swami is leaving. He has been, as he should be, he announced his whole life when he was very young, various stages, things that he would do. He's now withdrawing. There have been tremendous rumors about all kinds of things that he's done or not done. I know for a fact that he's in control of all of it. He told me many years ago, he said, thousands and thousands of devotees will be leaving. They're sitting on the fence. They're not true devotees. They're part-time devotees. They're doing it out of Indian tradition to have a guru. They're doing it out of fascination. They're doing it because of the leelas and the diamonds and the things that I create. They're not true devotees. I'm going to run them all off. And he's done it. So don't worry about all this nonsense and these rumors. They were all his own doing. He knew exactly what he was doing because he wanted the ones left behind that were true devotees, true positive energy. He doesn't give interviews anymore. He doesn't give darshan anymore. He comes out only doing the bhajans, and usually when they're halfway through. He doesn't talk to any of his people anymore. You couldn't work for that hospital or that college or be his secretary without getting permission to do every little thing. I built that hospital. He told me not only what type of tile to put in, but the color of the grout. Now, he doesn't talk to any of them. Figure it out for yourself. They all sit up on the veranda. Swami, what should I do about this? He says, mumbles a few things, and he goes on by. Because he loves us. He doesn't want it to hurt us. He's going to go. He's become very sentimental. He cries all the time. I cry with him many times. He's very sensitive. He knows he's going. He's very sentimental. You got to remember, he's a God man. He has every right to be sentimental. He has every right to adore us. And believe me, it is a great difficulty in his heart of hearts, the human heart, for him to do his job, which is to slowly exit the scene. He is going to die. Only the body. So, are you ready? What are you going to do? You all going to cut your wrist and follow him? I mean, what are you going to do? Is he going to be gone? Is your own prima energy gone? Is your belief in God gone? Or whatever. He loves us. He's exiting the scene. He's getting ready for the greatest moment in history to occur. This is grace, man. This is the time. And all of you should be doing only one thing, thinking positively and asking one question, Swami, what can I do for you? Sairam.